So in this video, we are going to be watching how do we block in our letters. Okay, how do we block in our letters and get them on our sketchbook? Well, the previous video or the previous time, we actually drew these vertical lines that say, okay, there's a letter here, here, here. There is space in between them. You could put all of your letters on one side. You can put half of your name on one side, half on the other. I'm going to pick just a few random letters that I think sometimes give people struggle with. Okay, so one thing I will also point out is use a straight edge as much as possible. Now, if I'm doing the letter S, I'm probably not going to use a straight edge very much. If I'm doing the letter I, I'm doing the letter T, even N, then I want to use a straight edge. I'm not actually going to spell a name out here, though, because I'm just picking out, again, some letters that I think people struggle with. So our letters need to touch the top line right here, and I'm going to make this really dark so on the video you can see it, and the bottom line right here, okay? And as you start this, you need to make sure that you're drawing as light as possible until you have confirmed and you feel very confident that this is exactly how this letter should look. All right? Gentlemen, ladies, I have a couple of you with pencils. Would you please put them down and make sure you're paying attention? So I will say N is a tricky one, okay? And sometimes I will tell students, hey, go ahead and kind of sketch it in first. If you say, okay, I got to have like N's got to touch here, it's got to go down like this, and then it comes over like this. Okay, that is a very standard basic N. But we have to block this in more, and we need some thickness to our letters. So I'm actually going to say, okay, this is the left side of the N. This is where my box was. And again, I'm making this dark for the sake of the video. Please keep yours light. Please look up. All right, so for thickness, I'm going to say, okay, here's the other side of the N. I'm now going to take it into a diagonal, going down like that. And here is the right side of my N. So this is the bottom, but there is no inside top area. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some thickness over here. And then I'm going to make that diagonal line come up like that. Okay? See how that makes an N? A little bit? Okay, the biggest key again is you got to touch the top and you got to touch the bottom. So if I'm doing a letter like R, okay? R has some straight edges and some round edges. So the left side of the R is right here, the top of it is right here, the bottom of it is right here. Well, the letter R is very similar to the letter P, except it has a leg on it. So we could do this, and then we can say, okay, now I've got to round it on the corners right here and here. And it's got the little donut area inside like this, okay? So I can erase right here and here. I have the letter P. However, we want this to be an R, so let's go ahead and add the leg on it. Whoop. The leg is going to touch the other side of the box, and that is your R. All right, making sense? Okay, an S is very curved. I don't even know that I'm going to use the straight edge very much, but I am going to make sure that my S touches the left and the right and the top and the bottom. So I have to work within this little rectangle right here. An S is curved, as I just said, so I'm going to go ahead and curve all four of these corners. I'm just going to curve and curve and curve. Well, I could make this into an O just by doing that, but this is not an O, it's an S. So for this S, I'm going to put a little hook at the top, and I'm going to round it around. I'm going to put a little hook on the bottom and round it around, and magically, there's the S. Does that make sense? Okay, S's are actually much easier than they seem. Let's do a what? Okay, a W is hard. I was going to do a W, and a W and M are the same thing except for up and down. So again, with the W, I think the first thing we have to do, it's got to touch the left and the right here, the top and the bottom. So for a W to start, I think I would actually just sketch it in like this. So I can say, okay, I'm mapping it out, saying I got to do it right here, but it's got to have some thickness. So with that, I can say, okay, I'm just going to make this a double line W, drawing much lighter than what I'm showing you on the video if this were you, because you want to keep this light. And guys, instead of drawing over the top with the straight edge, I'm going to do this freehand to show you. So this would be my W, except I'm going to flatten the bottom parts right there. Okay, and that's a W. All right, and then again, an M would just be the reverse of that. It would be upside down. I had a lot of people saying, how do you do a T? How do you do an I? Boy, super easy. Okay, here is the space right here. If I were doing a T, I would just have a line that matches the top, and I would go straight down like this. Or if it was an I would just go like this. Okay? And actually, guys, it is so much easier if you use the top, the bottom, the left, and the right. It is. It's so much easier than just kind of willy-nillying it, just putting it wherever. If I were doing a Z, now you notice I did the 5 right there. Let's see a Z right here. I'm going to do a Z right here. Z has a top that goes across like this, then it goes down, has a bottom like this, and then it goes up. That is a Z. All right? If we were doing an O, all right, let's just say the lines were like, ooh, not like that. If I were doing an O, I would just round the corners. Just like we did the S. Oh, I already did that, didn't I? And then just put the middle in like that. Okay? Now, I do not have a solution for every single one of you in your letters. I am going to put a set of block letters up, and I'm going to say, okay, go ahead and do the best. You're going to draw as light as possible. Hey, guys, look up here for just a second. Here's an M. I've got 2 M's. I have a Y on here. I have an A on here. Okay? So using maybe these 2 examples, hopefully that'll kind of help you. I will tell you again, we're using pencils for a reason because we know we're going to have to do some erasing, some fixing, and some adjusting. What we don't want to say is, well, Mr. Ray, I just don't know how to do it. Sometimes we just have to try it, and we have to say, well, that didn't work. I'm going to go back, I'm going to fix it, and try it again.